the wrong people. The patrol from the Guntersville shelter was still a few blocks away and moving on foot toward the Wells Fargo bank when the Overwatch reported movement in 3 locations. The squad had left their vehicles a few blocks short of their destination so they wouldn't drive into the middle of something. Our advanced scouts reported that someone was in the tower above the bank, but someone was also on the roof of the convenience store across the intersection. Whoever it was, they appeared to be providing overwatch for the person above the bank. It was a poor location for an overwatch to be in because there were so many higher places to occupy. The church was one of those places. There wasn't time for the patrol to reach the intersection and find out who the people were in the tower or on the convenience store roof, but the 2 men in the intersection wore shoulder patches on their uniforms that had been designed a few years ago by our own good friend in the Army, Captain Jim Miller. Each patch was white and shaped like home plate on a baseball diamond, and they had either an FS for Fort Sumter or an MI for Mud Island sewn in the middle. He chose that design because that was the shape of Fort Sumter. When the Overwatch passed along that piece of information to the squad that was moving in their direction, the leader decided the other 2 locations must be hostiles and gave the order to eliminate the Overwatch on the roof of the convenience store. Even if they weren't hostiles, they were taking aim at 2 friendlies and generally being rude guests. There was a moment when it felt like we all held our breath. With the order given and acknowledged, everyone had to hope that our Overwatch shot first because the soldiers were exposed. High above the street, the 2 church snipers only exposed a short length of the barrels of their Barrett M82 rifles in case someone was watching their positions. They had decided ahead of time with a coin toss who would shoot first, and while one watched the bank tower, the other took aim at the hostile. He exhaled slowly as he squeezed the trigger. A split second later, the man on top of the convenience store bucked into the air a few inches and then fell motionless. In the control room of the shelter hidden inside Green Cavern, we were all quiet and still, as if any movement would cause our people to be too late. The radio chatter we were monitoring between the patrol and the Overwatch was nothing but static as we waited. Then the report came through. "Green Squad Alpha, Owl has eliminated the mouse." The combined release of tension in the room, along with the choice of words from the Overwatch, caused a fair amount of laughter. "Owl?" asked Jean. "When did he come up with that?" Jean didn't appear to have aged at all over the last 6 years, but the laugh lines around her eyes were a touch deeper. They were showing up now because the radio report was so unexpected. I didn't have a clue, but our old friend and shelter physician, Dr. Buss, explained it between fits of laughter. "That's Gan out there on the church tower. He's been complaining about radio security and thinks we should be using call signs and code. He's the Overwatch leader, so he's the Owl." I can't say I disagree with him, and I imagine it makes sense to give himself that call sign, I said. I had to admit it was appropriate, even if it was funny. The radio came back to life with a response from the squad. There was laughter in the background as the squad leader said, "Affirmative, Owl. What about the other mouse?" The second Overwatch reported that the person in the tower had gone to ground as soon as their Overwatch had been shot. From the tower, the roof of the convenience store was completely visible, and there was no misunderstanding about what had happened to their plan to trap our squad from the Green Cavern shelter. The soldiers in the intersection mustered up what little strength they had left and used it to get as close to the church as possible. They heard gunshots from that direction above them, and they couldn't see where the shooters were, but they knew it would be hard for someone to shoot straight down at them. I keyed the microphone and quickly told the squad and the Overwatch to begin hailing the soldiers on all channels in case they were carrying radios. It would be senseless for anyone else to get shot. The squad was quick to report that they had had contact with the 2 soldiers and were moving into position to protect them. The second Overwatch followed with a report of his own. "Green Squad, be advised that Owl needs to eliminate that mouse again." Our expressions were blank at first, but then it dawned on us that the man on top of the convenience store had turned. It wouldn't be much threat to anyone,